A while back, I used to work in the restaurant business. I owned a restaurant for about 10 years. And I also worked for a food distributor. And one of the things we talked about a lot with our customers is the COP, the center of the plate. And the COP always starts with the meat or the protein, whatever it may be. And I was looking at this picture and I thought, man, that really reminds me of a really nice piece of meat. This picture right here, it's really well marbled. It reminds me of Wagyu beef, which is that real expensive beef from Japan. I just couldn't help noticing the similarity. I thought it was really striking, how it looked like that. But Venus has turned out to be one of those places that is the center of your plate. It's the meat of the whole thing here. There's so many things to see on Venus, and you can always see them by the white lines, and they're in just about every satellite image. There are thousands of these white lines, and we've seen them on Mars as well. And you think of them. I think they want you to believe that they're some sort of mineral deposit or probably dunes or who knows. I really don't know. And I'm sure they have several different names for what these things are. But they are definitely buildings in rows. Why they do the white, I don't know. I'm not Venusian. And the other thing that we've seen in looking at these pictures is that really, and I've said it before, it's really all the same. Whether you go to Mars or Venus, or there seem to be some slight differences from what I've seen so far. Certainly Pluto is very, very different. But these structures are really all the same, and they're arranged similarly. I don't think I've seen the incredible long straight rows of shoebox-shaped buildings on Venus. They seem to build in clusters in between these white lines, and we've seen structures being built in between the white lines also on Mars. Quite a bit. They have these polygonal shapes they talk about, and the white lines are supposed to be frost, etc. But it really does look all the same, and I think it must come down to what it takes to make a building. I mean, the most efficient building you could make, I suppose, would be a square structure or a shoebox shape or whatever you want to say, rectangular, whatever. It must be the easiest building to build. I gotta say, if I were a carpenter, I would rather have a lot of right angles versus all sorts of different angles. So that must be it. It's the easiest one to build, and it's probably modular to some degree, I'm sure. And I'm sure all of this stuff is older than old. It has to be when you look at the amount of it, particularly on Venus. I think Venus is completely covered. I could be wrong, but from the dozens and dozens and dozens of satellite pictures that I've seen, they're all the same, more or less. And Technothanks, I should say, Physical Astronomy Technothanks has shown some really great Venus stuff lately. And actually, he's shown some really great Venus stuff from years ago. So I don't know what I'm trying to say. I guess I'm just saying it seems to be all the same. My job is trying to find something interesting, and so I look for those interesting pictures, the contrasts, the very large buildings versus little buildings, and that's what I do. The other thing I wanted to say was, like the other places that we've seen and talked about, no room to move. These people don't have privacy. They must not have privacy. I don't know. Are they all connected mentally? Are they all telepathically together? I don't know. It's a very, very interesting place, and it's amazing to think of that it's the closest planet to Earth. We've almost never talk about Venus. How often? The only time Venus ever comes up is if somebody spots a UFO and the authorities want to say it was Venus on the horizon. That's about the only time it comes up. Seriously. I know it's supposed to be impossible to live there, but once again, this is something that we forgot to tell them. So I would really like to see more on Venus. I don't know if I want to keep going with just these black and white pictures by the hundreds. See if we can find something different. Thanks for watching, folks.